have the good intention and the bad intention. And a lot of people will not know your true intention. This is something, again, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. If you start this charity program to go feed all the needy Muslims or all the needy people throughout the whole world, you work very hard on this project. That project grows from being a locally run project to nationally run project to global. Now you're running a $1 million budget to feed and reach those people. If you have the right intentions, that you're only doing this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and seeking the reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, then we're going to get it. But then, if you're doing it just because you want people to look at you and say, look at that person, mashallah, he does so much great stuff, then the Prophet ﷺ says that, yeah, you are going to get that part, but that will be the extent of the reward that you're going to get. So we have to be really careful of how we decide our intentions when we do things. If somebody helping people, just so people can say, oh, look at that man, he really helps people. Or look at that sister, she's always going around helping the people that need help. She's always visiting the sick sisters in Cincinnati. Then that will be the extent of her, reward. Whether it's going to be she's doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or she's doing it to have those different worldly things. Just like one of the people in one of the battles, when people looked at him and he was fighting in a way where he was really, the other Muslimin, the other believers, looked at him and said, man, this guy is going straight to heaven. He's protecting Islam and he's fighting for Islam. And then when they went to the Prophet ﷺ, he told them, no, he's going to hell. And then when they went back and asked him, the guy, he said, no, I'm just doing this so my tribe can look like, they have real men, real fighters. And then, the guy went ahead and killed himself. So look at how much that person did and how much reward he could have gotten. But just because he had the wrong intention. And then we can also have the fact that you're telling people one thing, but your purpose and your hidden intention is something completely different. I'm doing something because I tell people I wanna bridge the Muslims together, right? I'm leading projects because I tell people, or I want, whatever it is, whatever project or whatever community work that I'm doing, because for the sake of the Muslims in Cincinnati, or the sake of Islam, or whatever that reason is. But then, your actual true intentions are something completely different. You want a different gain out of it. You're looking to get that experience out of doing something good. Now, there's a really fine line of doing something for the right intentions, and while doing it, you're going to get those experiences. We're going to volunteer for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our intentions are truly just for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're going to get, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us that reward. On top of it, we're going to get that experience of dealing with volunteers, or dealing with non-profit work, or getting that leadership experience that we need. But we have to make sure that the initial intentions are in the right direction. And the third section, when we look at it, is doing things because they are either a requirement or a sunnah, versus doing it out of a habit. The first example we can think of is when we eat and drink. Now, when you eat and drink, you think that, we're just doing this to survive, right? But then when you look at the verse in the Quran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Kulu washrabu," eat and drink. So it's an order. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that we need to eat and drink. So now, every time before we eat and drink, if we have it in ourselves, that the intentions and the reason why we're eating and drinking is because we're listening to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to do, or asked us to do. So now we're saying, okay, now we're going from, we're just eating and drinking and switching it to ibadah. The same thing when we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Du'uni astajib lakum." Ask me and I'll answer. Call on me and I will answer. So we have to start thinking about these things as things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam told us to do, and we're just obeying those orders.